Welcome to the deep dive.
Oh,
Okay, so today we're really going to focus, get into consistency. We want to cut through some of the usual stuff and give you like a clear path to maybe finally stop procrastinating.
yeah, think of it as a blueprint, a real deep dive, not just, get motivated tips.
Exactly. And for this, our guide is pretty potent. We're pulling key ideas from Sheldon Howe's Mastering Discipline, Practical Wisdom.
Specifically, his book, How to Be Disciplined. Now, it's short, like really concise,
Right.
but the principles in there, they can genuinely change things.
So Sheldon Howe, who is this guy? For those who don't know, he's a self-help author, but very direct.
Very direct is putting it mildly. It's like
Yeah.
no fluff, just facts, frameworks, actionable stuff.
Yeah, his books are known for being practical, straight to the point, no wasted words.
And How to Be Disciplined is exactly that. You could read it, seriously, in under an hour.
Wow.
But it's designed to stick with you, for life. His writing style is punchy,
Yeah.
honest, maybe even a little aggressive.
In a good way, though.
Yeah, in a good way. Like a coach who knows you can do better and isn't going to coddle you.
Okay, so let's jump into maybe the biggest, most uncomfortable idea he hits you with right away.
Ah, yes. You don't have a motivation problem, you have a discipline problem.
Oof. That one lands, doesn't it? He really breaks down why motivation just isn't reliable.
It's so true, though. He paints this picture of motivation as this wave, right? It comes in, feels great, but then it goes out again.
And you're left stranded.
Exactly. Discipline, though, that's the anchor.
Mhm.
And he points out how many of us fall into that trap, waiting for the right mood.
Or just consuming endless motivational videos or articles.
Right. Or planning everything out perfectly, but then not actually doing it consistently.
So how does he define discipline then, if it's not about feeling motivated?
It's simple, really. For How, it's just about what you do, period.
Right.
Regardless of how you feel. Action over emotion.
Which leads right to that question he kind of throws out there.
Yeah, the reflective one.
How many times have you known exactly what you needed to do? Maybe even felt that little spark of motivation.
And then just didn't follow through.
Yeah.
It hits home.
And that's where he tackles willpower, right? He kind of reevaluates it.
Totally. He basically says willpower is overrated and misunderstood.
Misunderstood how.
Well, the common idea is that discipline means gritting your teeth and using sheer willpower every single day, pushing through misery.
Right. Sounds exhausting.
It is. And Howe says that's not really how you build lasting discipline. It's much more about designing your life, your environment, to minimize what he calls decision fatigue.
Oh, I like that term. Decision fatigue makes sense. He has that analogy, right, about decisions being like weights.
Exactly. Decisions are like weights. The more you make, the more exhausted you feel. And it's such a powerful way to think about it.
It really reframes why some days just feel impossible. Even if you started out feeling okay, all those little choices add up.
Precisely. So his practical advice flows from that. Things like simplifying your environment.
Like the classic Steve Jobs turtleneck example. Fewer choices.
Setting up routines so the choice is already made for you. Automating good habits where you can. His whole point is use discipline when it's easy, like setting things up beforehand, not when you're already tired and depleted.
So don't rely on feeling hyped at 6 a.m. to go to the gym.
No, make it automatic. Put the gym clothes right by the bed the night before. Remove those tiny decision points that drain your energy.
Are there specific, maybe less obvious areas he mentions where this decision fatigue really gets us?
Yeah, he talks a lot about those seemingly minor daily things. What to wear, what to eat for breakfast, which task to start first.
Things you don't even realize are decisions.
Right, but each one uses a little bit of mental energy. So pre-deciding, automating those, it frees up your bandwidth for the stuff that actually requires real effort or focus.
Okay, this next point, this one really made me rethink things. How's the idea about starting small? Like really small?
Ah, yes. Counterintuitive, isn't it? But he sees it as absolutely key to not failing.
Because most people try to do too much too soon.
Exactly. They try to climb Mount Everest on day one, metaphorically speaking. He's very blunt. Start with 2 push-ups, not 2 hours at the gym.
It sounds almost silly, but it highlights how ambition can actually sabotage you.
And this connects directly to his concept of identity wins.
Identity wins. Explain that.
It's the idea that just showing up consistently, even if it's for like 2 minutes, it starts to actually change how you see yourself.
So you're building a reputation with yourself.
Pretty much. You're proving to yourself, hey, I'm the kind of person who does what I say I'll do, even if it's tiny.
So it's not just about feeling good in the moment, it's actually rewiring something deeper. Is there a psychological angle he touches on?
He implies it strongly. Each little win, each time you show up, it's like casting a vote for the disciplined person you want to become.
Yeah.
It reinforces that pathway in your brain.
Ah, okay. Like James Clear talks about in Atomic Habits.
Exactly. Casting votes for your desired identity. Over time, doing the thing feels less like a struggle and more like just who you are.
So for you listening, maybe the challenge is to pick one ridiculously tiny thing. Like read one page, do 1 minute of stretching,
Something almost laughably small.
and just do it every day for a week. The goal isn't the output, it's just not breaking the chain, building that tiny identity win.
Now, shifting gears a bit, Hal really doesn't sugarcoat things when it comes to excuses.
No, he definitely doesn't pull any punches there. He calls them emotional delays. I like that term too.
It frames it differently, doesn't it? He lists the big ones, the top 5 lies we tell ourselves.
Okay, what are they?
You know them. I'm too tired. I don't have time.
I'll do it tomorrow. The classic.
Right. It's not the right time and I'm not ready yet.
We've all used those. Probably today.
Probably. And he says these aren't really facts, they're stories. Stories we tell ourselves to avoid the effort, especially when we feel kind of overwhelmed.
And then he drops that really blunt line.
Oh yeah. The shocker. You're not tired. You're undisciplined.
Okay, that's harsh. And I mean, sometimes people are genuinely tired, right? Or are facing real obstacles. How does he square that?
He does acknowledge true physical exhaustion exists, of course, but he's challenging the default use of tired as an excuse.
So he's saying more often than not, it's resistance, not actual inability.
Yeah, resistance to the discomfort of starting or continuing.
Yeah.
He wants you to get brutally honest. Is this real exhaustion, a genuine barrier? Or is it just that familiar feeling of not wanting to do the hard thing, what he calls the emotional delay?
The bluntness is meant to make you stop and actually ask that question.
Exactly. It's a wake-up call for self-awareness.
So maybe a quick exercise for everyone listening right now. What's your number one go-to excuse? The one that always seems to pop up.
Just identify it.
And then ask yourself, honestly, is that an absolute unchangeable fact? Or is it just a comfortable story?
Powerful stuff.
Which leads into another really interesting distinction he makes. The difference between routines and rituals.
Right. Routines are just mechanical, things you do on autopilot maybe.
Like brushing your teeth.
Yeah. Rituals, though, they have meaning. There's something you honor.
So how does that apply to discipline?
Well, he suggests that things you want to be consistent with, maybe things that are harder, should be treated more like rituals. So if brushing teeth is routine, maybe your morning meditation or your writing time becomes a ritual. Something a bit sacred.
Sacred, how so?
Treating it that way shifts the feeling. It's not pressure, like, oh, I have to do this.
Yeah.
It becomes something you do out of pride or reverence for the goal or for yourself.
Okay, I get that. How do you actually make something a ritual, though? Does he give examples?
Yeah, practical things. Could be lighting a specific candle before you start, playing certain music only during that activity.
Creating associations?
Exactly. Or meticulously counting your reps at the gym, like each one matters. Saying an affirmation. Basically, finding small ways to elevate the action beyond just ticking a box, making it feel meaningful.
Turning the mundane into something special.
Kind of, yeah. And this ties into what feels like the real emotional core of his message.
Which is?
This profound statement he makes. Discipline is the highest form of self-respect.
Wow. Okay, unpack that. Highest form of self-respect.
It's powerful, isn't it? He's saying the reason you do the hard thing, the reason you get up early or stick to the plan, isn't punishment. It's not because someone else is making you.
It's for yourself.
It's because you respect your own time. You respect your body. You respect the goals and promises you've made to yourself. It's an act of self-honor.
So discipline isn't restriction.
No. In his view, it's the opposite. It's freedom. Freedom from regret. Freedom from knowing you didn't live up to what you wanted for yourself.
That distinction feels crucial. And how does that self-respect thing play out in other areas? Does it just stay with that one habit?
No, he suggests it ripples outwards. When you consistently keep promises to yourself, even small ones, that builds self-trust.
Right.
And that self-trust makes you stronger in other decisions, maybe setting boundaries, handling difficult conversations, committing to bigger things. It boosts your sense of agency, your belief that you can actually do things.
I can definitely relate to that. I went through this phase, hitting snooze like 5 or 6 times every single morning.
Oh, I know that feeling.
And it wasn't just being late. It was this low-grade guilt that just hung over me for the first hour of the day. It felt awful.
Mm-hmm.
When I finally sorted out my sleep and actually started getting up at 6 a.m. consistently, The biggest feeling wasn't just, oh, I'm healthier. It was pride.
Yeah.
Not because getting up at 6 is heroic, but just because I was finally keeping that promise to myself. That internal nod of respect, it really did change things.
That's a perfect example of what he's talking about.
Yeah.
But Hal is also a realist.
Yeah.
He knows.
You're not going to feel like it every day.
Exactly. Motivation will vanish. So he gives some very concrete, practical tips for staying consistent when you feel zero drive.
Okay, good. What are those final gems?
Well, he emphasizes tracking your progress. Seeing it visually helps.
Like putting X's on a calendar.
You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Getting accountability, a friend, maybe an app, whatever works for you. Rewarding yourself appropriately. And this one's big. Never miss twice.
Never miss twice. What does that mean exactly?
If you slip up one day, and you probably will forgive yourself, fine. But the next day, you get right back on track. Don't let one missed day turn into 2, then 3, then falling off completely.
Break the chain of inaction immediately.
Right. Forgive the slip, but don't let it become the new habit. He loves that don't break the chain method, just keep the streak going as long as possible.
Makes sense. Visual momentum.
So, as we kind of wrap up this deep dive into Howe's stuff, what's the main takeaway?
I think it's that his approach is just intensely practical. It's not flowery language.
No poetry here.
It's raw truths, maybe uncomfortable ones, but not some magic formula. It's real mental tools for actually building consistency.
And that strong link he makes between what you do every day and your fundamental sense of self-respect. That's powerful.
It really is.
Yeah.
And that final thought he leaves you with, discipline is not for the elite. It's for the ordinary people who make extraordinary decisions every day.
That reframes it completely. It's not some special trait you're born with. It's a choice available to anyone.
A choice made daily. So the question for you listening is, what now? Are you just going to listen to this, nod along, and then move on? Or are you going to take maybe just one small, possibly uncomfortable action today? Start building that self-respect, one extraordinary, ordinary decision at a time.